Assembly Hall, and this is our next game, the final semifinal game of the afternoon. Rockford Lutheran against Pinckneyville, a chance to meet Eureka in the championship Class A boys basketball game later on this evening. Hello again, everyone. Joe Passion back with you. And before we preview our second semifinal game, let's again look over those brackets as we see how the teams have fared thus far. And Eureka's 8-point upset win over Chicago St. Martin puts them into the championship game tonight at 8 o'clock against the winner of this game here, Pinckneyville against Rockford Lutheran. Now to somewhat set the table for you, Rockford Lutheran, of course, out of the Rockford area, they seem to always have a team downstate in one of the tournaments. They traveled nearly 200 miles to Champaign to get here, and Rockford Lutheran by veteran coach John McDougall had another tremendous year. This year at 30-3 overall, the Crusaders out of the upstate Illini East. Now, if you've never been to Rockford, the second largest city in the state of Illinois, and a pretty city it is, let's take you down our Main Street USA with country companies.
Illinois' second biggest city sends yet another school to Champaign, this time the Crusaders of Rockford Lutheran. Lutheran draws its over 400 students from a four-county area and was founded in 1964. In 1992, Rockford was designated an all-American city and has many parks and fine golf courses. Rockford also has one of the finest all-around multi-purpose buildings in the downtown Metro Center. Founded in 1834, industry along the Rock River and good land for farming drew its first settlers.
The opponents for the Crusaders today will be the Panthers of Pinckneyville, and Pinckneyville, Illinois is a ghost town today because I believe everybody is here at Assembly Hall, and they've traveled quite a way to get here for their 31-2 Panthers. What a great team they have under veteran coach Dick Korn out of the River to River Conference to take you through Pinckneyville when it was a little bit more active earlier in the week with our country company's Main Street video.
Pinckneyville is named after Revolutionary War patriot General Charles Cottsworth Pinckney. No community in Illinois better exemplifies March Madness than Pinckneyville, whose first appearance in the tournament dates back to 1935. Coal mining is one of the major industries in Perry County, but this weekend, the whole community is doggone ready to board the buses and bring back their first championship trophy since Duster Thomas's 1940-18 team.
And we are doggone ready for the second semifinal game. It'll be between the Panthers and the Crusaders, and that's what's coming up next here from Assembly Hall on America's original March Madness, right after these messages from your local Ford dealer. The great tradition of downstate Pinckneyville against the newer team of upstate Rockford Lutheran in our semifinal game number 2. To set the table with the X and O's, let's send it to center court where Greg Sterick and Jim Albrecht are standing by.
Thanks a lot, Joe, and good afternoon again, everybody. I'm Jim Albrecht along with Greg Sterick. The question here as we set for game 2 of the semifinals, can you win a state tournament without any offense from your guards? That is what Rockford Lutheran will try to do because that is the way John McDougall has always done it.
I think that we're going to have to rely upon our guards a little bit more today than we have in the past. Somebody's got to step up and start scoring outside because, you know, they're making it almost difficult to get the ball inside Eric, and he can only do so much. Stopping Hawkins, I don't know if we have the solution. We think that we can play good man-to-man team defense with help, support, and I'm sure that today we'll get the ultimate test.
Even the legend knows he needs a little help from his guards, but he needs to get it back inside to Mr. Eric Clark.
Well, that's where the firepower is, on the inside. Eric Clark averages 26 points and 12 rebounds per ball game. He's had 56 points in the tournament. He does it all for his ball club. Very active on the inside, works to get open, a great catch. Very active inside, and you see Clark there throw down a big dunk for his basketball team.
Well, Pinckneyville has had a whole lot of great basketball teams. Dick Korn is here with another one. They beat Teutopolis yesterday, and Dick knows he's going to have to put the clamps on Clark.
We're going to put pressure on the basketball, but we're going to play behind him and try to get our help from the wings. We feel like that their perimeter shooting may be somewhat suspect, and we want to play behind, though, because we're afraid of them on the backboards, too, and we want to give our forward center type players a chance to rebound with them, so we're going to try to get the help from the wing positions.
The Panthers have a very balanced team, but Greg Sterick, their money man is a guy named Hawkins.
Well, Hawkins is an all-state player. He's very exciting. He's a complete basketball player. Had 25 points and 3 assists in yesterday's ball game. He averages 22 points per ball game. He can do it from the outside. He's got a nice stroke from three-point range. He does it with penetration, splits 2 defenders, and there's the Hawk, and he gives it up to Summer for the bank off the glass.
Who will take on Eureka in tonight's Class A state championship game? We're about to find out after these local messages. Well, you can see that both these teams are used to winning. The Crusaders come in at 30-3, Pinckneyville at 31-2, and now we head to our public address announcer, Steve Adams.
Introducing the starting lineups for this afternoon's second semifinal round game, featuring the Crusaders of Rockford Lutheran entering this game with a record of 30-3, and the Panthers of Pinckneyville High School, who come into this game with a record of 31-2. At forward for Rockford Lutheran, a 6'3" junior, number 20, Josh Anderson. At forward for Pinckneyville, 6'5" and a senior, number 30, Brett Clellan. At the other forward for the Crusaders, a 6'7" junior, number 22, Anthony Harris. At the other forward for the Panthers, a 6'2" senior, number 20, Ryan Bruns. At center for Rockford Lutheran, 6'8", a senior, number 41, Eric Clark. At center for Pinckneyville, a 6'5" sophomore, number 54, Andrew Dagner. At one of the guards for Lutheran, a 6'2" junior, number 24, Dan Jameson. And at one of the guards for Pinckneyville, a 5'9" senior, number 11, Matt Decker. At the other guard for Lutheran, a 5'10" senior, number 34, Ben Whitcomb. And at the other guard for Pinckneyville, a 6'3" senior, number 21, Shane Hawkins. Introducing the coaches from Rockford Lutheran. The head coach in his second season is John McDougall. And for Pinckneyville, the head coach in his 19th season is Dick Korn. Introducing your officials for this second semifinal.
Let's take a closer look at those starting lineups brought to you by DuPont Canopy, the no-till herbicide.
Well, when you look at the lineups through there, I think you have to look at the center spot. Eric Clark matched up against Dagner on the inside, and Dagner only a sophomore, and then Whitcomb's going to have the challenge of trying to check Shane Hawkins, the outstanding player for the Pinckneyville Panthers.
And again, as you heard Coach McDougall say, he's got to get a little help from his guards. Here's how it stacks up on the team comparison compliments of Pepsi and all sport.
Well, field goals, you got to give the edge to Rockford Lutheran. Pinckneyville, a good shooting basketball team. 3-point field goals and free throws to Pinckneyville. Rebounding, size advantage, Rockford Lutheran. And quickness-wise, I think you have to give that to Rockford Lutheran also.
Eric Clark had a great game yesterday after a slow start, scoring 29 points. And, of course, you know what Mr. Shane Hawkins did for his Pinckneyville team. Tip is controlled, and down comes Dan Jameson for Rockford Lutheran. The point guard is Ben Whitcomb, and that with the basketball is Josh Anderson on the right wing. And Harris.
Pinckneyville in their man-to-man defense. They play all man-to-man defense, Jim.
Clark triple team, loses the basketball. It's on the floor. Hawkins comes away with it, gets it up quickly, and it will not be saved, or will it? Yes, by Bruns. Oh, Bruns with good hustle. Hawkins for 3. Well, that play was set up by Bruns because he was almost out of bounds, but he managed to get it back in.
But the defense created the offense. Hawkins with the steal, then the lead pass to Bruns, and the save by Bruns, and then Decker a quick look, and the Hawkins knocked in the 3.
Whitcomb needs a 3, in and out. Clark over the back. Andrew Dagner had good position, so the sophomore gives the senior his first personal. Rockford Lutheran
rated number 7 in the final poll. First appearance in trophy round. 2-year record, 50-12.
And of course, Pinckneyville, they're used to being rated. If you see a Pinckneyville team that's not rated, it's kind of unusual. Look at that 2-year record, 64. They're working it around. And from the far left corner is Mr. Hawkins again. Well, it's Shane Hawkins 6. It's Rockford Lutheran 0.
Well, he knocks into 3, shoots it at 42% on the year.
And a turnover by the Crusaders.
See, Pinckneyville's so tough and so solid, so well coached defensively. They make things happen with their defense. A good look at the veteran coach, John McDougall of Rockford Lutheran High School.
Can he hit 3 in a row?
The Hawks on fire from the outside.
And that's something that's pretty hard to defense. Whitcomb breaks the pressure. Rockford Lutheran right now just needs to score and settle things down.
Pinckneyville shoots the threes at a 40% clip as a team.
Here's Jamison. He got it. And that's a 2. His foot was on the arc.
Big basket, though. They really needed a basket there. Pinckneyville's on a 9-0 run to start this basketball game.
Rockford Lutheran guards have to be on fire, but right now they're getting a personal foul as Ben Whitcomb fouls Decker out front. Decker won't score a lot for you, but hey, when you've got a guy like Hawkins averaging 22 points a game, Brett Cleland also averaging in double figures. There's one of the 3.
Hawkins squared up, shoulders were squared nicely, and really got up nice on that jumper from the outside.
And of course, he is going to Southern Illinois University to play for Mr. Rich Heron. Everybody pretty well knows that. Dagner fakes out Clark, but not for long. Clark rejects it. Here comes Whitcomb. Harris, who was in early foul trouble yesterday, will now be on the other end of the whistle as he causes Pinckneyville to pick up their first personal of the afternoon. Again, if you're just joining us, Eureka sent St. Martin de Porres away methodically, 58-50. And inside, Clark travels with a basketball. They fronted him, and they had a man behind him.
Now, the foul on the last possession was called on Dagner, the sophomore, on the inside. And Dagner really got his work cut out for him this afternoon against Derek Clark on the inside. Early in the ballgame, Pinckneyville's defense tough. 3 turnovers to Rockford Lutheran.
Hawkins, not this time. And we've got a whistle and a foul as Hawkins will march to the free throw line. Today's officials for our last semifinal game.
Foul 24 Dan Jamison. That's his first. 3 team fouls on the Crusaders.
And we'll get their names to you in just a little bit. There they are, Terry Gross and Robert Redmond. Hawkins now has 10.
And Pinckneyville has 10.
Now, his season high 38, and that was in a game that they won 63-62. So he can carry it. And of course, he was fouled on a 3-point attempt, so he will get 3 free throws. There's Mrs. Hawkins, Shane's very proud mother. She taught him all he knows about threes, right? Well, he's got 3 threes and he's got 3 free throws.
Imagine his father's quite proud, too. He was a great basketball player in his own right for Pinckneyville. He's one of the assistant coaches for Pinckneyville. Once again, their defense creates offense. Defensively, Pinckneyville's so tough.
Hawkins again, not this time. Rebound Clark. As you saw the turnover, and here's another one. Pinckneyville, just too much pressure right now for the Crusaders. Cleland up, not there. Cleland tried to get it, and Hawkins rebounds it along the baseline and gets it back to Cleland. Brett Cleland, the senior, as they go around the top. Well, Hawkins is cooled a little bit, but he's isolated on the right wing. Nice pass to Cleland. Good head fake, and he is fouled, and it'll count. Harris got just a piece of him. It's 3-day here for Pinckneyville. Every time they score, at least if he makes his free throw, it'll be another 3.
Well, nice delivery by Hawkins inside, and the fake got Harris up in the air. Cleland, great body control, and kind of leaned into the defensive man. The shot fell for Brett Cleland, the senior. He shoots free throws at 77%, averages 12 points per ball game for Pinckneyville.
Well, you think Pinckneyville's feeling pretty good about themselves? They should. They lead it 15-2. One of your network sponsors is Country Companies. The Denny's Grand Slam Spectacular is brought to you by Denny's, home of the Grand Slam meal. And you talk about pressure. Well, there's pressure when you come to Assembly Hall, but there's also pressure via Pinckneyville.
Yeah, Pinckneyville likes to get it done on the defensive end. That's where they really get the job done, on the defensive end.
Don't forget, live coverage of Final Four Class A and AA Slam Dunks will be seen right here. You saw the dates and the times and the turnovers, all Lutheran.
Yeah, points off turnover for Pinckneyville, too. 6 turnovers now for Rockford Lutheran. Pinckneyville's been able to capitalize with 9 points.
Well, the sophomore Dagner thought about taking Clark to the hole, but then thought better of it. Hawkins, who started the game with 3 straight threes. Dagner not there. And the ball will come the other way to the men in purple, Rockford Lutheran. The Crusaders, of course,
Cannot move this time.
with a win last night against Hamilton. And Pinckneyville ended the run of Teutopolis. Boy, you felt sorry for those T-Town kids when that shot didn't go in the final second.
Well, that game against Pinckneyville was always a build. A tremendous high school basketball game.
Clark with muscle misses. And they needed that one inside. When Clark gets that close, they've got to put it on the cash register, but they came up empty. In a hurry is Decker. Hawkins looking for a spot. Now he finds Cleland. Clark battling. Dagner's got it.
Great board work by the sophomore inside. Inside position. Great follow by Dagner, the sophomore.
It's a 15-point lead. This is the biggest spread of the tournament so far. Clark thought maybe he walked, but he was fouled before he took the extra step. And let's see who they call it on for the Panthers. Dagner with his second foul of the afternoon.
The shot goes up by Clell, and then it's just great board work by Pinckneyville. Right there, Dagner with the inside position. Got the 2-point.
Ben Whitcomb on the inbounds play underneath the basket. I'm sure that Dick Korn did not want to see that happen. You hate to give up those easy 2, but with a big spread like Dick Korn has, he might not be as upset about it as he usually would. See, Decker doesn't look for the basket. He doesn't have to.
He knows his role.
Yep.
He knows his role.
The record for points scored in 1 quarter was 22, set by Jerry Coomerly for Danville Slarman against Rock Falls. That was back in 1959. This is Dagner. That's off the mark. The rebound comes down in the form of Dan Jamison, the guard. Jamison all the way down, weaving through traffic. Ball is batted upstairs, but Anderson had it, lost it. Picking it up is Cleland.
Well, Pinckneyville picking up every loose basketball. Real quick and very alert to the basketball. 6 turnovers for Rockford Lutheran.
Hawkins forcing it. It's not going to go. And we've got a whistle and a foul as Hawkins kept at it. And Jamison will pick up the personal for Rockford Lutheran.
Yeah, Hawkins has the ability to step out, bang in the 3, but also to go inside and really work hard. And got a big body. And Pinckneyville's basketball team, even though they may not have the size of Rockford Lutheran, they're very, very strong. See Hawkins going inside right there. Had to arch the ball because of the presence of Eric Clark on the inside, but stayed with it nicely, and he was fouled on the play. And the basketball belongs to Pinckneyville. Substitution for Pinckneyville.
That would be Jarrett Summer, the man of the hour yesterday. He scored 2 big buckets down the stretch, including the one with 5 seconds left to go on the dish from Hawkins to beat Teutopolis. Cleland way off the mark.
Talking about the play of Summer yesterday, he had 7 points, but he started for this Pinckneyville basketball team early in the year. Now he's coming off the bench.
Harris bothered again on his way up, and the rebound comes down to Garrison Rule, who's in the ballgame. Cleland's free. Got it. Brett Cleland on the breakaway, and it's a 15-point lead again. And Harris is fouled by Rule. Garrison Rule, a senior, 5'11", a stocky 180.
Well, a great look, a great pass down the floor, and there's Cleland just streaking to the basket. A great look at it from the Denny's Slam Cam.
Eating up highlights, compliments of Denny's this afternoon. We, of course, are in the second of our semifinal games. The first one, yes, Eureka beat St. Martin de Porres. Here's another turnover. When you have more turnovers than points with 6 minutes gone in the game, you're in trouble. Decker got it.
Decker says, Jim, I can shoot the basketball too. Just give me that chance. Let me find that open spot. Let me have either a driving lane or a chance to pull up. And Decker a big basket. Pinckneyville on top, 21-4.
You get up by 20, it's pretty hard to blow that kind of lead. This is a very good Pinckneyville team. They've never done it all year. Ben Williams goes inside. Ben Williams, who has just checked into the ball game, along with Tyson Erdelak. And now let's go talk about the better half of the coach's career with Joe Passion. Joe?
Well, actually, we have some better news on Betty McDougal, the wife of Coach John McDougal, who has had heart and kidney problems of late, and they've gotten more serious, but she was at the game yesterday. Unfortunately, had a fainting spell toward the end of the game, was taken to the hospital for precautions, was later released, and is, we can tell you right now, at the hotel, resting comfortably and watching the telecast. Betty, we hope you're all feeling better.
And that goes for us, too, here.
Sure does.
That expression you saw on John McDougal's face a couple of seconds ago is the same one you saw last night with 30 seconds left to go and his team ahead. This is his 1,006th game. Cleland shut off inside. Now Pinckneyville's got it going their way. Bruns missed the shot, but getting it back was Summer.
And Rule slapped it away.
Cleland inside, up good. Cleland with the scoop down the lane, and it is all Panthers from Pinckneyville.
Well, they got off to such a great start with Hawkins shooting the long-range bombs. 9 straight points to start the ball game. But watch Cleland. A good quick move on the inside. Uses the glass, off the glass. Cleland with the basket. A nice big hoop that time by Cleland. And Cleland now with 5 points. Hawkins leads the way with 12. Make it 6 for Brett Cleland.
And they have 5 3-point trips down. 3, of course, via the arc, and 2. This is their 8th appearance in the Elite 8. Last coming down here in 1988. They've been part of history here in Illinois.
Well, they got a great tradition, a lot of pride in the town of Pinckneyville.
Got the inbounds to Clark, and he was fouled by Garrison Rule, number 42, who's talking to his coach over there.
Dick Horn's been a very big part of it. 19th year, 428 wins to only 144 losses. Spent 2 years as an assistant coach at Olney under Rich Herron's brother, the head coach at SIU. Ron Herron was the coach at Olney.
Nice pass. Right back down it goes to Jamison, but he couldn't get it to fall. Clark did nicely to deliver it, and we've got Decker loose.
Oh, Decker runs the floor so well. And the Hawk spots him down low, and Decker gets the easy basket off the transition.
There's a minute left in the first quarter, but is there enough time left in the game for Rockford Lutheran? They trail it by 21 points. Harris missed it. Clark is there, and he will be in a jump ball situation with Dagner. You look at Dagner, the young sophomore, he hasn't even grown into his body yet, has he? He's all lanky and flopping all over, but he gets it done.
Yeah, like 6'5" and 175. You know he's going to put on some weight. But when you look at Pinckneyville's players, even though their size-wise may not match up in height, but I think they're very strong basketball players. Very, very strong. Obviously, they've spent a lot of time in the weight room.
Yeah, that's what their coach said during the summer. They spent a lot of time in the weight room, and they are just as strong as this 1988 team that Dick Thorne brought down here.
You saw 8 turnovers for Rockford Lutheran. Pinckneyville doing an excellent job taking care of the basketball. No turnovers. They're on top 26-5, running down the clock. They want the last shot of the first quarter.
Well, Hawkins, who already has 12 here in the first quarter, may do a little solo number as Decker looks for him coming off a pick. But now Decker will take it. He puts it up, and he hits the deck, and he'll go to the free throw line. Well, Decker's having a very active first quarter.
Well, he got in foul problems yesterday. Spent a lot of time on the bench yesterday in Pinckneyville's win, but he just makes a good decision here. Able to go on the dribble drive right there and able to beat Ben Williams on the drive. The shot doesn't go, but he was fouled. The play was designed and set. It was a double pick for Hawkins. Hawkins tried to rub his man, and then Decker was able to take it on the drive.
Everything working well for Pinckneyville. They're getting all the rolls, and of course, their defense is forcing things.
Basketball teams don't get to this level unless you've got a balanced attack. This isn't just a Shane Hawkins-led basketball team. They're very balanced as Decker misses the back into the 1-and-1 free throw.
Clark's got 3 seconds. He unloads it to Erdelak, who loses it out of bounds, and that is pretty fitting for the first quarter to come to an end as far as Rockford Lutheran's game. It's all Pinckneyville. We'll return after these local messages. Well, you saw a three-point show already. Compliments of Shane Hawkins. You're about to see another one. Compliments of the IHSA television network. The Country Company's three-point showdown is brought to you by Country Company's Insurance. When it matters most, the Country is behind you. You can see live coverage next week, of course, March 19th, and you can see this today.
Yeah, good ball movement by Pinckneyville. Great rotation on the basketball. Hawkins stayed with a shot nicely, and Hawkins with 12 points in the first quarter lead Pinckneyville. 3 threes, but the turnovers were the real story. Look at the field goals, 25% Rockford Lutheran, 50%. Look at the turnovers. 9 points off turnovers. Pinckneyville gets 11 points off turnovers.
Well, they only put up 8 shots. 8 shots, and they weren't slowing the ball down.
Well, a Dick Corn basketball team, every ball game that you come in, I think Coach Corn wants to do 3 things. He likes to control tempo, likes for his players to really go hard to the offensive boards, and he loves for his defense to create some offense. And that was sure the case in the first quarter when they built that 22-point lead.
Summer picked up the personal foul, and Clark, who has yet to find the scoreboard, and that remains. It's been a 0 kind of day for the Crusaders of Rockford Lutheran. Right now, Pinckneyville, that's what they don't want to do.
This way.
The ball is knocked out of bounds. You see, even when they make a mistake, it's going their way.
Yeah.
I was about to say, all they have to do, Greg, is just business as usual from here out.
Yeah, things are going right for Pinckneyville, but look at the legendary and the veteran and the great basketball coach, John McDougal. And you're right, he won't change that expression. You know, he's very, very concerned, but he hardly ever changes expressions.
Look at Dagner. Dagner is full of confidence today going up against Eric Clark.
Nice to see Dagner come back and have a good ball game, because in the game yesterday he only had 2 points, and I'm sure he didn't feel like he played as well as he could. I've had an opportunity to see him play on 3 different occasions this year, and he's the type of player as a sophomore that's just going to get better and better.
Williams will force it along the baseline. Summers went up and said, "Good afternoon, sir. I'll take that," but he also picked up the foul.
Summers a big body on the inside. He's 6'5", but he's 190. It's a good look inside. Williams is active. You'll see Summer come to give some help out of a weak side, gives some weak side defensive help, goes up for the block, and he picked up the personal foul.
Summer will go out right now. Ben Williams will go to the free throw line. There you see a good shot of the man who found the limelight yesterday against Teutopolis. 5 big points down the stretch. And his coach said he rarely shows that much emotion, but this is the Hall. You got to show emotion.
Played with a lot of emotion. Pinckneyville sure played with emotion to start this basketball game also. Emotion, a big, big part of Pinckneyville's success.
Bruns is alone, but he'll pull it up and give it to Dagner. Yep.
The sophomore's got a sweet jump. Sweet, sweet looking shot in the lane.
And that's the unselfishness of Pinckneyville showing, because Bruns could have taken it. Clark all the way down, comes up empty again, and here comes Clellan. Clellan 1-on-3. Will he force it? No, get it over to Bruns, and that'll count. Goaltending on Clark. I didn't know where Clellan was going, but he did.
He knew exactly where he was going. A well-executed break, a 2-on-1 break. Clellan right there with a nice dish, and it was to Ryan Bruns. A good job running the floor, got it up on the glass, and goaltending call. Clark got the basketball on the way down off the glass. Well, Hawkins really, really checking outside, and that time Hawkins went for the reach, and Hawkins picked up the personal foul, but he's really getting after Jamison.
Jamison may have gotten poked in the eye there. Shane said sorry about that. And Jamison probably said, "Why don't you apologize for all those threes you buried in the first couple of minutes?"
And not guard me so tight.
Yeah. Now
this a little pressure off.
And you have to start thinking about the championship game now, Greg Stark, because this is much to the advantage of Pinckneyville. If they hold this huge lead through the first half, okay, well, they can rest some people in the second half. I mean, that's true. They don't want to wear themselves out, because it's always harder to play that second game of the afternoon and come back and play the championship.
Yeah, I think you make a good point, but I think it's just a little bit too early to start thinking about that.
Yeah, you're probably right. But this Rockford Lutheran effort right now is just going nowhere, and I just sense that they're not going to get back in it.
I think those 3 straight threes that Hawkins buried, long range, really took a little wind out of their sails, didn't it?
Yep. Tell you what, if you loan me a couple of bucks, I'll call a psychic hotline and see if I'm on this. Oh, a steal out front by Williams. Clark should finish it.
Nice dunk by Clark. First turnover for Pinckneyville. They turn it over. What happens? Clark back the other way. He gets a thunder dunk.
Yeah, and you'd like to see Lutheran get back in it, get pumped up, because they've had such a great season. You don't want to bow out of your state championship dream this badly. Hawkins with a nice move, but defense was there, and now we'll come the other way. So a little life being shown by the Crusaders.
Yeah, both ball clubs with outstanding records. Lutheran at 30-3, Pinckneyville High School at 31-2, and both of Pinckneyville's losses that came to Carbondale.
Yeah.
Watch Clark right there off. The defense creates some offense. Clark right there off the turnover. A nice finish by the big guy inside. Eric Clark, another look right there. Watch the dunk. Throw it down, Eric.
Of course, you mentioned those 2 losses to Carbondale, and Dick Korn said, I'll tell you what, they say speed kills. Well, in basketball, it does kill you because Carbondale's very quick, and they are in the Sweet 16 in Double-A right now.
Well, they sure are. They're playing a super sectional game against a very good Collinsville ball club on Tuesday night.
Dagner, did he? Oh, man.
Let me show you the way I can play out on the wing and play guard. Dagner quick to the inside. May have lost his footing, but found the board. Got the 2-pointer.
You don't call that kind of shot even in horse. 35-9. It's all Pinckneyville right now.
Watch Dagner. Dagner thinks he's a guard. Fakes the shot from the outside, puts it on the floor, slips through 2 defensive men, and just slides away from Clark. Gets it up on the window. Thank you, Glass. 2-pointer for Dagner as Dagner checks out of the ball game.
Yeah, Dagner can have a good couple of minutes right now, that's for sure. There you see a good shot of Eric Clark, who was a very classy young man, headed to Rutgers University. He's led this team here. He was here when he was a freshman. Well, fewest points in IHSA history. Wouldn't you like to call that game, huh? You could throw more commercial breaks than you'd want. 1-0. Georgetown beat Homer. That was back in 1930. You were here, weren't you?
I may have missed that ball game. May have missed that one. I've seen a lot of them, though. I sure have. Look at this score already. It's just second quarter. Pinckneyville 35, Rockford Lutheran 10, and Pinckneyville's a basketball team that averages 70 points per ball game.
Well, Pinckneyville already starting to substitute right now. Anson Conkle, number 45, is in the ball game for Dick Korn, and he is at the free throw line. Anson Conkle. Oh my goodness. They're going to have to start calling these. I'm sorry. They're going to have to start calling these.
The magic is in the assembly hall, and I'd call that one backboard magic.
I bet he doesn't do it this time. Not off the bankboard is what I meant. Oh, there's a happy Panther. If you're wondering about Dick Korn, of course, he's legendary as far as his basketball coaching, but no, he doesn't have a son playing, but he has a daughter cheerleading. Hawkins gets it, goes up, count it.
Nice catch by Hawkins. Great lead pass by Decker. You just can't predict high school basketball, can you?
Nope. Jimmy the Greek would have gone broke if he tried down here during this Class A tournament. Erdlak with a pass, or at least an attempt, and one to Clark, who almost, look at that. Look at that. That's
nice
just
effort.
Great control.
That's all effort right there. Clark stayed with it very, very nicely. I think Clark wants the basketball. I think they got to continue just to go in, pump it inside, let Clark go to work.
Bruns fakes it. Hawkins thought better of the 3 as his man jumped out. Here's Bruns. Not that time, and Williams with a rebound. Some more substitutes getting ready to check in for both Rockford Lutheran and Pinckneyville. Rule set to check in for Coach Dick Korn. Harris spots Clark, just like Greg Sterick said they should, but he missed it, and then he picked up the foul. That's a tough trip down for Rockford Lutheran.
Clark active on the inside. They got to go to him inside. Just didn't finish the play. Frustration set in over the back. Personal foul on Eric Clark.
Well, if they get him in foul trouble, I don't need to tell you what that means to the outcome of this game. Anson Conkle, well, again, go to the free throw line. His last trip was the hard way. Now he does it the standard way. Good look at Dick Korn, coach of the Pinckneyville Panthers, keeps looking up to that scoreboard.
had a lot of opportunity to look up there because his ball club's putting a lot of points on that board.
His record at Pinckneyville in 19 years, 428 wins, just 144 losses. It looks like he's on his way to another one. One of your network sponsors is All Sports. There you see a very organized and very in charge Pinckneyville huddle. They lead this ball game by plenty.
Well, they're doing it with some great shooting. They're 14 of 25 from the floor, 56%, 3 of 6 3-point territory, 50% from the line, 10 of 11, 91%. They've almost played perfect basketball.
Well, they put up 41 points on the board, but I don't think they're going to beat the record.
No, I don't think so. 65 is the most points in a half, and that was by Providence St. Mel back in the 1985 Super Section.
A gentleman named Downing probably played on that team, I'm assuming. Foul at the other end on Pinckneyville's complex. And Eric Clark would go to the line.
Well, you can't say enough about Eric Clark. He's a tremendous talent, a tremendous basketball player, headed to Rutgers next year.
So he's got something inside that head along with his physical prowess, and he misses the free throw and a foul on Clark, and that's his third.
I think that's third personal foul on Clark.
And a technical.
That's technical.
That's just frustration because that is not the usual demeanor of Eric Clark. He was just frustrated. He missed a gimme down there about a minute ago, and now he missed the 1-and-1, and we'll have a technical shot by Garrison Rule.
Who was the technical?
Personal foul was against 41 Eric Clark, and that's his third. There is a technical foul charged against 21 Ben Williams.
Okay, I was going to say Ben Williams will pick up the technical foul. The personal foul was against Eric Clark.
And Rule missed the free throw opportunity there.
That's who I'd have shooting my free throws. He's 75% from the line. Let's go to Joe Passion now, who's standing across court. Joe?
Well, Jim, as you know, technicals are a rarity in the state final tournament, and there's a reason for that. The officials talk specifically with the coaches and players before the state tournament begins, even the regionals, about the importance. They'll let them play their game, and they'll give the coaches a little bit of leeway, but they will blow the technical whistle. The last technical in the state championships, 1992, against Augusta coach Mike Ferry.
That's Shane Hawkins' fourth three-pointer of the afternoon.
Hawkins now with 19 points in the basketball game. He's 4 of 5 from three-point range, 5 of 8 from the floor. 19 points for Shane Hawkins.
He's shooting three-pointers like a good free throw shooter shoots free throws. I mean, he's that prolific this afternoon.
He shoots them 42%, though. He had 79 of them coming into the ball game, so throw in those 4. Hawkins now with 83 threes on the year.
Tyson Erdelak with the first of what will be 2 free throws for Rockford Lutheran. Again, if you didn't watch our first semifinal game and you thought it was already a given that St. Martin de Porres with Jerry G would advance to the championship, forget about the givens, okay? This is basketball. But don't forget about Eureka, because they beat St. Martin de Porres 58-50, and did they play the perfect game or not?
Yes, they sure did. Eureka did it with defense, and Pinckneyville's done it with pressure defense also.
Rule working out front.
Nice execution on the half court. Good ball movement.
Yeah, they're just going to kill a little time, run their offense. Rule tries the right side. He's rejected, and Erdelak gets it out of there. There's a tough pass, but Williams comes down with it, and Williams will go all the way down, and that was a very good individual effort by Ben Williams. It was a hard catch. It was a hard drive, but he got them both done. About 3 minutes left here in the half. On the floor. McClellan will be fouled on his way down the baseline by Harris. Harris has had a lot of foul trouble down here in Champaign.
He really hadn't got on track either offensively. He's been bothered by fouls, and he came in at averaging 8.5 points per ball game, and there it is right there. There's a good look at Ben Williams, the 6'2 junior. A good move, just takes it coast to coast, uses his body nicely, uses the glass well, and gets the 2-pointer.
Here we go. Bonus.
Don't forget, we'll come your way this evening at 6:30 on the IHSA television network. We'll set the stage for you. Right now, it looks like we could have a run and gun third place game if it's Rockford Lutheran against St. Martin de Porres, but there's still a lot of time left here. But the lead is large for Pinckneyville.
And a lot of people felt like the matchup in the championship game would match Jerry G and Eric Clark.
Yep.
Doesn't appear to be the case.
Clellan said, hey, I had the steal and Harris touched it last, but the official behind the play did not see it that way. So the Crusaders will kick it back in. You know, when a game gets to this stage and the lead is this big, there's not much you can say about it. Just if you're rooting for the team that's behind, you kind of got your head down, and if you're rooting for this Pinckneyville team, you're just amazed. Bruns, yeah. Ryan Bruns all the way down after the turnover.
Well, he made the defense commit. Looked like he was going to give the basketball up to Decker. The defense felt the same way. He found the opening, and boy, a strong move. And Bruns known for his defense mostly, but showing some nice offense in this ball game.
Down low it goes to Josh Anderson, who gets it home. Also in the ball game now for Rockford Lutheran is Quinn Virgil. He wears number 12. And another Pinckneyville substitute will be in shortly. I think Dick Corn's going to get a lot of people in this game. The play-by-play man's nightmare is about to unfold here at Assembly Hall. Who are all those people? Well, I tell you what, it's those people that don't get a lot of chance to play on the floor who make the practices and make the team as good as they are. Hawkins will miss finally from three, but Clellan picks up the rebound, and Harris has picked up another foul.
Well, once again, Pinckneyville so active on the inside, working so hard to get on the offensive boards, and offensive rebounding has been a big key to the success of this Pinckneyville basketball team. And they work so hard to get the position inside. See the shot goes up from Hawkins from the outside. Watch the board work. See right there, Clellan with the inside position. Harris didn't bother to put a body on him at all. Let Clellan slip right inside.
New man in for Pinckneyville, Mark Radicke.
Clellan now with 11 points in the ball game, averages 12 points per ball game. At the free throw line, Pinckneyville 15 of 17, make it 16 of 18.
Well, that record for halftime points is going to be a little tight here. They've got 52 already. What was the record? 65. 65. Here they come again. Radicke out front. He's fighting for it with Williams, and Radicke will be called for the personal foul.
Radicke a little upset with himself. Felt like he could have been able to run. Felt like he should have run down that pass, but the lead pass was just a little bit long, and he just couldn't run it down.
Yeah,
you see the pass right here. You see Bruns. He's looking up the floor. Radicke right there. Oh, if I can just catch this, I got a chance to get a hoop.
Yeah, Ben Williams.
Catch it, but Williams hustles back and makes a nice defensive play.
Radicke, a senior for Coach Dick Corn's ball club. Williams in and out and back in again. Minute 47 remaining here in the first half. Pinckneyville came out on fire, and they're still on fire. And let's go to Joe Passion courtside.
Not only do the teams come down here as a reward, so do the referees. They earn the right to officiate these games, and there are two referees out here today. Bob Redmond, who's in the front court, and in the back court at center court now is Terry Gross of Manhattan. They've refereed together for many years, but this is their last year at the tournament. The referees get 3 trips to the state finals. This is their third and final. In fact, for Bob Redmond of Watseka, this is his final year as a referee. 30 years for Bob Redmond, who's down in the baseline. Guys?
Thanks, Joe. Hawkins being bothered out front, but Radicke comes out to help. Uh-oh, this looks like trouble. It is.
Great body control by Hawkins. Just leaned away from the defensive man, and the Hawk gets another one. That's 21 first-half points for Shane Hawkins.
Well, he had 25 yesterday in the quarterfinal, 25 in the super sectional as Anderson misses badly, and now he already has 21. He will be, if this holds, the leading scorer in the tournament as we head into the final round here down in Champaign. Clark was the leading scorer, but he's having troubles here in the first half. He's got 3 fouls. He's not even out there. They're just going to play catch for a while. 30 seconds remaining here in the first half. Pinckneyville up by, get your calculator out, 35. I'm just a sportscaster. I can't count that. Hawkins will try for his 23rd and get it rejected, but he'll go to the free throw line, so he may end up with 23 before the half expires.
I saw a little opening, a little daylight. Hawkins put it on the floor, took it on the dribble drive, and Hawkins was fouled on the play. And Hawkins an opportunity to go to the free throw line. Hawkins a very good free throw shooter coming into the ball game, shooting him at 76%.
There's so many combinations of what can happen down here. I know that Totopoulos is watching this game right now, and they're saying to themselves, that could be us. We could beat Rockford Lutheran. Now, they'd have to prove it, but that's what they're saying. They were beaten, of course, on a last-second shot by this Pinckneyville team, Dick Korn. He's not crying, is he?
I wouldn't think so. I wouldn't think so.
Maybe weeping for joy. Every coach who ever got in the gym with a group of kids, they have that same dream. They want to get to that state championship game, and Dick Korn is almost there. Long jumper outside by Rockford Lutheran. Not there. That was by John Harris. And that's the way the half will come to an end. It was all Pinckneyville, brother, from the outset. Shane Hawkins got him going with 3 straight threes. And they haven't slowed down since. 55-19 is our score. Joe Passion will grab one of the coaches right now. John McDougall will stop by. And what a great guy John McDougall is. He's laughing right now as he goes to do his interview. Now, how many guys trailing 55-19 would have a smile on their face? But he knows it's a game, folks. It's a game. Let's go to Joe Passion, who's standing by now with the legend from Illinois.
Only a veteran coach of over 30 years like John McDougall could come over and say, Joe, do I have to? What do you have to do in the second half?
Well, Joe, I tell you what, I've never been in a situation like this before. You'd think a coach at 100 years, the guy know what to do, wouldn't you? But they just came out and blitzed us real quick, and hit the 3 long was very early. And from that point on, they got momentum, and we didn't. So it's a very difficult obstacle to overcome. It's possible, but it's going to take a heck of a search in the mirror to do that, I'll tell you.
We'll look for your magic in the second half, John.
Very fine. Thank you, Joe.
John McDougall, and we will be back with more of our halftime festivities of semifinal game number 2 as they rock and roll here at Assembly Hall. At the break, Pinckneyville leading Rockford Lutheran in a big way, 55-19. We'll be back after these words from your local Ford dealer. Here's our halftime score here of our second semifinal game. Eureka already in the championship game to meet the winner here. 50 years ago, one of the greatest accomplishments of IHSA tournament history occurred when the Tornadoes of Taylorville, Illinois, won a state championship going unbeaten at 45-0. Here is a page out of that tournament scrapbook.
50 years ago, March 18, 1944 to be exact, this group of young men accomplished a feat no team before them or any other team in Illinois will ever accomplish again. A perfect record of 45 wins, no losses. They were called the Tornadoes of Taylorville. At a recent reunion, many members of the team were on hand to be honored. Schulte Bishop, Joe McAdam, Charles Noren, Harold Slick Parrish, Bob Slaybaugh, Ralph Willison, and Richard Wilson. But the 2 players most synonymous with the record-setting Taylorville Tornadoes were simply called Bones and John, Bon Timpson Orr.
Never anticipated anything like that. No, in the first couple of games, Bones was sick and didn't get to play, and we had Schulte Bishop had a broken hand, and Joe McAdams was sick, and we kind of went with a makeshift lineup. We got through the games, and from that time on, why, we came back and got together and really ripped through the season, and it was pretty good. We only had 1 or 2 close games.
Taylorville won the first ever Centralia Christmas Holiday Tournament. 16 wins, no losses to start the year. By the start of March Madness, they were a perfect 36-0. Was the pressure mounting?
Oh, I don't think we were that aware of it. We just knew we had more games to play and a little bit. I didn't particularly remember any pressure.
I don't think we ever talked about it ourselves. Anything. The only time I ever heard anything at all about anything like that was downtown sometime. Some guy'd say, you ought to lose a game. I don't think you can win a state championship if you don't lose a game.
The man who guided these young men was legendary coach Dolph Stanley, 6th all-time winningest coach in Illinois prep history with 705 wins, and the only coach to ever appear in 5 state finals with 5 different teams. He was revered by his players.
I think he and Ray Elliott, I played for him one year at Illinois in football, were the guys that all my philosophies in coaching and everything were like theirs. I wish I was as good a coach as Dolph.
He gave us the will and the drive, and we wanted to play. He just put that into us. He had that knack of that.
I don't know of any player that he coached had any more respect for one man.
To understand the discipline of Coach Stanley and how he was able to transfer it to his teams, one needs to look no further than the semifinal game against Champaign High School that eventful day 50 years ago. Taylorville had already beaten number 2 ranked Champaign 3 times by scores of 15, 8, and then 4. A win would tie Dundee High School's record win streak at 44 and propel the Tornadoes into the championship game against Elgin. With Taylorville ahead 38-36 and 40 seconds to play, Stanley calls a timeout.
You know, we worked on that play. We run that play 1,000 times, and we never used it but once. I knew I had to get the ball to Bontemps. That's all I had to do. And Jansen picked my guy. It was nothing, man. I just went in there all alone, laid it up. It was an easy shot. And
Taylorville went on to win 40-36 and handle Elgin in the championship game 56-33, a perfect season at 45-0. Now it would seem that after all this, nothing could go wrong. Even the blizzard conditions for the ceremonial ride back to town couldn't spoil the fun. But one thing was missing.
We got the trophy.
Somebody forgot the trophy.
Ned Podesky, our bus driver. He was in charge of the trophy. He got blamed.
We feel free of blaming Ned, yeah.
It's halftime here, and more great stories to come from Assembly Hall. We'll be back with more of our second half festivities. The Panthers on top of the Crusaders. We'll be back after these local messages. Halftime, the Panthers with a large lead here at the break, and maybe no one more surprised than Dick Corn. How about this lead? How do you coach a team in the second half with such a large lead?
Well, it's our ball game to lose now. You know, we really have to do some really stupid things to lose this basketball game.
As long as Hawkins remains hot and everyone keeps pressuring on defense, I guess nothing like that will happen.
Well, yeah, he got us out of the gates in great shape. There's no question about that. But I think the big story was our defense. I think we were able to frustrate the big kid inside a little bit. Also think the backboards played huge in the first half. Clellan has owned the backboards.
All right, Dick, have a great half. Take care of that cold.
Thank you.
All right, Dick Corn working on a cold, and that's the only thing that's bothering him right now. His team leads here at the half. We'll be back with that second half here from Assembly Hall right after these local messages.
It's time to check all the numbers, brought to you by the dairy farm families of Wisconsin and Illinois. Milk, it does a body good.
Well, all the numbers show Pinckneyville 57% from the floor, 85% from the line, 50% three-point range, and points off turnovers, they get 15. Free throws for Rockford Lutheran, they shoot 47%. Rockford Lutheran only gets 6 field goals in the first half.
Dick Corn will send his starting 5 out there for a while anyway. Decker, Hawkins, Dagner, Clellan, and Bruns.
Thank you.
This is Dagner with the ball at the top of the key. He had a good first half. Well, I guess everybody with Pinckneyville had a pretty good first half. Pass knocked out of bounds by Rockford Lutheran's Josh Anderson.
are the leading scorers at Rockford Lutheran. Williams and Clark with 5, and Pinckneyville very balanced. 22 for the Hawkins. Clellan with 12, 8 for Dagner, and for the little point guard, Matt Decker, he gets 5.
Hawkins has 4 threes here this afternoon. That's just in one half. Here's Decker. That's a little too hard. Clark wanted the ball on the breakaway, but they couldn't get it to him as Jamison brings it up.
I think Decker may have got fouled on the play, too, by Clark. Good defense once again. Pinckneyville exceptional on the defensive end. Turnovers, 13 for Rockford Lutheran.
And they're sagging back on Clark, and they're doing a good job getting up and batting that pass away. Pinckneyville can just take their sweet old time. And when you're up 55-19, the last thing you do is force a shot. Dagner. Nope. They get it right back, though. Clellan will try, and that's another 3.
Pinckneyville 5 of 9 from 3-point territory.
I've been down to a lot of Class A state tournaments, but I don't remember a margin this wide. Now in Double A, I've seen a couple of margins that wide, but not in Single A. But that's what's going down here this afternoon at Assembly Hall. Don't forget, tonight at 6:30, we're back for all those marbles, all those dreams in one bag tonight after the third-place game, which starts here at 6:30. Our coverage on the IHSA television network, followed by our championship game. Eureka is in. Can Eureka become what Staunton was last year? Cinderella with basketball shoes and a state championship. Consolation game again at 6:30, followed by our championship game. Erdelak tried to get a follow, and then Clark got in there and got it done. So it's 58-21. Clark with his 7th point of the afternoon.
Yeah, Clark misses 2 free throws. Really needs to spend some time in the offseason in the gym just working on free throws. Really has problems at the free throw line, but he's going to be a very, very talented college basketball player.
Yeah, he sure is. He'll upgrade that Rutgers program in a hurry. There's so many good college teams anymore. Here's a steal out front by Anderson. He'll wait for Clark, find him, and he'll cash it.
Basket by Eric Clark.
Josh Anderson, the junior, setting up that play. And the Rockford Lutheran fans trying to make a little noise.
Pinckneyville become a little bit complacent.
Well, you can't help but be a little complacent when you have that big of a lead. But, you know, they're so well disciplined that I bet you they don't stay in that gear very long. Ball got loose for a second. Decker out front. Wow. And Decker showing that he can put the ball in the hole. He had an average of 4 points a game coming in, but he's above that.
Get around it.
Decker now with 7. Here's Clark with an easy one.
Clark taking control on the offensive end for Rockford Lutheran. They're going to him, and he's responding very, very well. And defensively, Pinckneyville was so tough. A good job on him. A battle outside. Good hustle play by Rockford Lutheran. Good hustle play by Whitcomb. Good hustle play.
Ben Whitcomb will give his team the basketball, and we've got a timeout on the floor. One of your network sponsors is Pepsi. There's the numbers here at Assembly Hall as Pinckneyville edges closer to the championship game against Eureka. Some big numbers across the state last night in Class 2A as sectional championships were decided. And a lot of good games, Greg Sterick.
Well, Danville was a winner 56-54 over Morton. How about that one? 80-53, Peoria Manual Big. Geneseo over Rock Island.
Geneseo, yeah, beating Rock Island. And Boylan got to Rockton in an overtime. Weber a winner. Look at that game, another overtime. Libertyville prevailing. Another close one as Joliet advances. Downers Grove beats Romeoville. Carbondale, that's the only team to beat Pinckneyville, and they're still alive in the Sweet 16. Collinsville, always tough. Brother Rice knocked off Mount Carmel. That was a great game, a last-second three-pointer there. LaGrange Lions, Naperville North. That was in 3 overtimes. Conant past Schaumburg. And so it's down to 16 in 2A, but it's going to be down to 2 here in Class A tonight. 4:24 remaining here in the third quarter. There you get a good shot of Matt Decker.
It's nice to see Clark step up and start the third quarter good, too. He's such a talented basketball player. He scored all 6 points for Rockford Lutheran.
And he's up to 11 for the ball game now. Cleland wants the baseline, but he has a lot of trouble getting there because Clark was roaming around with that great wingspan of his. In the middle, ball batted loose. Bruns picks it up. Cleland's got it. Bruns has got it back, but it won't go. Cleland's got it back. He's got a free lane.
Cleland, a strong move to the glass. Pinckneyville once again doing the job on the glass. Pinckneyville is a very, very good offensive rebounding basketball team.
They sure are. Erdelac finds himself with a turnover as Bruns throws it away. Back to Erdelac. Yep. And as we told you yesterday, Tyson Erdelac has a personal journey, and I think he took quite a few steps here at Assembly Hall with a great game yesterday. His father passed away a year ago, and Coach John McDougall said he had a real tough time getting over that, as you might suspect. And he's becoming more of a man down here.
Great work by Clark. And look at Pinckneyville hustle play. Dagner kept it alive, and Decker picked up the loose ball.
Decker on the deck, hard foul there. And Clark's still playing a lot of good defense. Jamison picked up the personal foul, and I think he got all of that one.
Now, Cleland took it on the baseline, and Clark was right there. Clark, a very good shot blocker, got up and made a nice block on the play.
Well, we've got some substitutions coming in now for Coach John McDougall. Number 33, John Harris in the ball game. And number 10 also checking in is Mark Carlson.
Number 11, Matt Decker, 2 shots.
The crowd, as you might expect, a bit subdued.
Crowds have been good, haven't they, for the tournament?
Really
excellent crowds, and Pinckneyville brought a strong following, and Rockford Lutheran, Eureka's got a lot of people here. It's just been, this is what high school basketball is all about, Jim. The fans, I mean, there's so much, when you look at the communities, there's so much pride in the communities, and the community life, it just, it revolves around high school basketball.
It certainly does. And sometimes the bigger the city, the harder that is because there's so many different schools. But in these smaller towns like Pinckneyville's,
the tradition and the pride, it's in Pinckneyville.
Harris has the basketball, and he fires from way out. With a rebound, it's Garrison Rule, who was checked in for Coach Dick Corn in Pinckneyville. And Eric Clark picked up his 4th foul. As if John McDougall needed any more trouble. And what did he say at halftime? He said, I've never been behind this far. I don't know how to act.
And he's been in how many games? 1,006?
Yeah. Well, they say if you stick around long enough, you'll see just about everything. And McDougall has seen something even he hadn't seen. Look at that drive by Cleland. Brett Cleland. He's having a solid game again. Ben Williams with the basketball. Now, if you're looking at largest margin of victory here in this tournament, 51 points, but you got to go way back to 1908. That was the first tournament game ever played. Here's Cleland on the drive.
Yeah, Cleland having a nice ball game. Just slips inside, just challenged Clark. Clark didn't want to foul, and Cleland got the basket. Cleland with 19 points in the ball game.
Getting back to that largest margin of victory, it was Hinsdale over Riverside Brookfield. The final was 60-59. As we've got a steal up front, Decker will cash it in.
Well, a beautiful look up the floor. Decker slapped it away, and Bruns was right there, and then he just slapped it back to his teammate as Decker was streaking to the glass for the 2-pointer.
Decker in double figures with 10. Cleland's having a nice game with 19, and Clark shows why he's headed to a Division I program as he kisses the glass for his 13th point. One pass too many that time with Clark in the lane, and the turnover finds itself in John Harris's hands. Here's Williams for 3. It's short, and we've got a foul as Rule broke that 3-point rule. You don't want to foul anybody outside the arc if you can possibly help it, right?
Is that the 3-point rule?
That's the 3-point rule. No rules can foul.
I think he also lost a little concentration right there, too. He didn't want to pick up the foul. And on that particular play, and Garrison Rule gets the personal foul. And Lee Williams at the line to shoot free throws on the year at 47%.
Decker checks out, Bruns checks out. Mark Radicke will check back in. And Garrison Rule will rest up for tonight's championship game. A minute 35. Looks like somebody might have gotten a bloody nose there on the Pinckneyville bench. That's Bruns. Williams comes up shy. Again, we'll be on the air at 6:30. Yeah, it's a bloody nose.
Somebody Pinckneyville's only had 4 players on the floor too, didn't they?
Yeah, that's. Now Dick Corn
he came in for the wrong player. Is what happened. He came in for the wrong player. Pinckneyville's only got 4 players on the floor.
Yeah, that's right. He came in for the wrong player. You don't see this very often. It's 5 against 4 out there right now. But when you're leading 67-30.
Timeout.
Yeah, that's a power play. You're right. You're right. I could hear my Bob Albrecht director's thoughts. Is he a psychic? No, we're just hooked in, that's all.
And you know, that was just by accident too. Pinckneyville wasn't going to play with 4 guys. It was just by accident. It was by accident. Things have gone so easily for Pinckneyville here this afternoon. It was by accident. When the fellow checked in to come into the ball game, he checked in for the wrong guy. He took 2 guys out, and I think one of them had to leave because of a nosebleed or something. I think one of them had to check out of the ball game.
67-30 is our score. We're going to check in with Joe Passion in just a second. We'd like to remind you of the 3-point showdown Thursday, March 17th. That's when the preliminaries start. Action begins at 6 p.m. And of course, we have live coverage of the Final 4. When those shooters line up here, it's brought to you by the Country Company's 3-point showdown. Of course, Country Company's insurance, when it matters most, the country is behind you. And we have Joe Passion. I believe we have a former Rockford Lutheran player standing by, and he is towering above Joe Passion. Joe, it's all yours.
Well, a lot of Rockford Lutheran fans may remember Grant Sanderson, the starting center from this team in 1991. They lost in the quarters to eventual champion Pittsfield. And Grant now at Augustana, actually, when he was in foul trouble, Eric Clark as a sophomore came in. How far has he come as a player?
He's come a great long distance. He's really improved a lot. He's going to be a great player in college.
By the way, the other real tall redhead over here is Lauren, his 6'3" sister, captain of the cheerleaders, and on her way to Northern Illinois to play basketball. And her mother, Pat, the sports information officer for Rockford Lutheran, is on the side court filming. It's all part of the Sanderson family at Rockford Lutheran. Back to you guys.
Doesn't sound like they're home very often.
Spent a lot of time in the gym, huh?
Yeah, that's right.
Can't find any problems with that. That's a pretty good place to stay.
Minute 29 remaining here in the third quarter. Jim Albrecht and Greg Sterrick, hoping you're enjoying semifinal action on the IHSA television network. That first game this afternoon was a great one as Eureka upended St. Martin de Porres as Eric Clark gets 2 more. This one was decided very early because of the man with the basketball getting his teammates out to a red-hot start. Hawkins hit 3 3-pointers his first 3 shots of the game.
Kind of got Pinckneyville off to a good start.
Yeah, I'd say so. It's like spotting a golfer's strokes. Yeah, they'll just wait for the last shot unless they can get a breakaway underneath. In the ball game is number 23, Jeremy Johnston for Pinckneyville. He has the basketball right now. That's Summers with the goggles on. They're just playing catch out front. Radicke, Johnston, Hawkins. They'll probably go with about 15 seconds left. Whoop. And they turned it over. Mark Carlson should have a layup, and he does.
And he gets it.
And now they'll have to hurry. Radicke gets it back. Johnston on the way down. He'll just put it up, and he won't hit it. Rebound won't count. It comes after the buzzer sounds. 67-34 is our score. Pinckneyville on its way to the championship against Eureka will return after these local messages.
Pinckneyville is without one player at least to start the fourth quarter with this big lead, 67-34. Guard Matt Decker is in the locker room getting more of the than just a bloody nose repaired. He's also got to get the blood stains off his jersey to be eligible to come back in a safe hazard policy back on the court. And later on in this quarter, we'll show you how the medics handle bloody cases on basketball courts. Back to center court, Jim and Greg.
Thank you very much, Joe. The final 8 minutes of play here in the final semifinal game of the Class A tournament, the original home of March Madness.
Clark had a nice third quarter for Rockford. Lutheran had 10 points in the quarter. He was 5 of 5 from the floor.
Yeah, that's nice. That's very nice. With the basketball is Garrison Rule. They're just going to work their weave and a little practice in. Rule finds a little opening, hangs, but he's got too much on it. And Clark has the rebound, but it's taken away by Dagner. He missed the layup. Harris comes out of there with it. Harris in a hurry. It's a 3-on-2. Works it over nicely to Williams, who will not get it to fall. Harris there, and he is fouled.
55, rebound.
Of course, if you talk about Pinckneyville, you can't go without mentioning the name Duster Thomas, can you? He's legendary down in those parts, and of course, he's the man who brought Pinckneyville here in 1948 and won it all.
Right here, stay there.
Of course, there was a third-place finish in 1947. They finished third 3 consecutive years, Pinckneyville did, under Duster Thomas. 53, 54, and 55. Oh, those were the days, huh, Greg?
Well, Pinckneyville had a great tradition in basketball. I mean, just a tremendous community. The fan support's fantastic. And you were right. There was an era of basketball there that was called the Duster Thomas era of basketball. It was a slow-down brand of basketball, but he was an outstanding coach.
That's when patience was a virtue. That was a 3 at the other end, as you saw by John Harris for Rockford Lutheran. We'll check in with Joe Passion here in just a minute or two. Foul out front by Harris as Rule was killing a little time.
Foul is up, 33, John Harris is first. Keep out 3 on Lutheran.
Well, I guess, you know, when you're approaching your 70th birthday like John McDougal is, we'll check on that story in a second, but here's your game summary.
Rockford Lutheran 25 field goal attempts in 3 quarters. Clark only 5 first half points. Shane Hawkins 22 points, 27-5 first quarter.
There's a bit of an edge now. Pinckneyville doesn't take advantage of it. Jeremy Johnston just backed it back out.
I think Pinckneyville needs to go ahead and just score. Yeah. I mean, they just need to go ahead and move it to the basketball. They don't need to clock. These guys need to go ahead and score. Come on, Coach Corn. Let them go ahead and score. Take it to the basket. Good look inside to Summer.
No, but Summer doesn't want it. Just working that weave, and now Johnston cannot get the layup to fall.
Good shot, though, by Johnston. Good shot. Nice drive.
Harris all the way. Good athletic ability, but no result at the other end. Rule comes out of there with it. Gets it up to Johnston. Getting back to McDougal, of course, he joined some pretty good company as the 11th man to win a trophy at 2 different schools because he is in the trophy round. Not too many other people on there. Tom Shields, of course, who was here last year with Hales Franciscan. He's won 2 with 2 different schools, Providence St. Mail and Hales Franciscan. Charlie Strasburger from Pana and Prairie Central. Other names on there, David Lee, William Larson, and don't forget about Dahl Stanley. He did it with 3 schools. Long jumper out top. It's not going to be there for Rockford Lutheran as Carlson came up short, but the follow is good by Harris.
Nice stick back that time by Harris on the inside.
It's been all Pinckneyville here this afternoon. To recap, Shane Hawkins came out, and as soon as he laced up his shoes, he decided this game would be Pinckneyville's. He had his first 3 three-pointers in the first 2 minutes, and Pinckneyville never, ever looked back. They led it big at the half, and they lead it big now, 67-39, as Ben Williams works it down. Ben Williams works it to the hole. Doesn't get it. Out of there with it comes Johnston. Cross court he goes. Kunkel gets it. Hanson Kunkel is the way the PA announcer Steve Adams is pronouncing it. And of course, Steve has never run, so it must be Kunkel. Long jumper, not there by Carlson. Ball's kicked around, and here comes Pinckneyville with it.
Nice kick up to Johnston right there. Oh, a nice pass by Johnston right there, and a great finish by Jarrett Summer. Good look, though. Good look.
71-39. 4 minutes left in this one. And again, Eureka did defeat St. Martin de Porres. I may have repeated that a couple of times, but it was big news here at Assembly Hall, believe me, because a lot of people thought St. Martin de Porres would be in, but they're not.
I see Summer right there running the floor nicely. A nice little dish right there. It was the bounce pass by Jeremy Johnston.
And right now, Dick Korn will put in his substitutes. We've got a timeout on the floor. It's going to be Pinckneyville and Eureka in the championship game. One of your network sponsors is DuPont.
Injuries over the years, of course, sustained blood, and the policies throughout the country now with the age awareness is a number of things. And here at the Assembly Hall, like at any other arena around the country, of course, all the trainers and medics use the plastic gloves to stay away from infection. They wipe off the blood and try and tape it, whatever the means might be. They also have to clear off the court with spray and gel on the individual, and if they have too much blood on the uniform, they have to go in and change it, as Decker is doing right now for Pinckneyville. Throw it away, and everything is taken care of. In the meantime, we hope we don't have to have too many incidents, but if they do, the medics here at Assembly Hall are ready. Guys?
Thanks a lot, Joe. Ryan Eisenhower is in the ballgame wearing number 35. You just saw him in that scramble down court as Rockford Lutheran turned it over.
Rockford Lutheran, the lowest scoring game this season, was 57 points. That was a loss to Forest Park out of Indiana.
Yeah, they came in averaging 73 points a game, so it all went wrong for the Crusaders, but Pinckneyville had an awful lot to do with that. Shane McGranahan with a jumper.
That's one you'll remember.
Jumper out front is not there by Harris.
On the line.
Battle underneath. We'll check out some other substitutes for you. Jason Black wears number 44 for Lutheran. He's one of their big football players.
6'1", 235.
Bringing the ball up court is McGranahan for Pinckneyville. Ball's down low, and it's rejected as Kunkel took a shot, but they get it right back.
Good block by Harris. Harris with the block.
Kunkel will try again. But he has to kick it out to McGranahan, and here is Radice's shot coming off the rim. Carlson in a hurry, gets it up to Black. Black will pull it, but he can't get it to fall.
Nice spin move by Black.
They say he's a great kid. They said that, during certain parts of the game when you want an intimidator late in the game, that's the man. Neil Kessman had the basketball, gave it up. Kessman wears number 32 out front. This is Harris. Mark Carlson.
Get out of there. There you go.
There's two Harrises in the ball game right now. Here comes a long rebound out to McGranahan. We'll just pull away from some teammates. Kevin Kellerman wears number 40 and finds the glass.
Ooh, Kellerman, sweet looking shot. A little smile out of Kellerman there. Kissed it off the glass for two.
You know, in 20 years, that's going to be a 23-footer at the buzzer. You know that, don't you? That's how stories grow down here. Radice with a rebound off the errant Rockford Lutheran shot. Eisenhower doesn't want it. McGranahan wanted it, but didn't get it, and the foul is there by Kevin Kellerman.
Kellerman on a roll.
Yeah.
Kellerman on a roll.
Don't forget, we'll be back tonight at 6:30. It should be a great championship game. Eureka against Pinckneyville. Pinckneyville trying for their second state championship. The last one coming way back at 48. Black, no, it won't go, but he'll go to the free throw line. Checking that lineup for you for Pinckneyville. You've got Radice still in the ball game along with Kellerman. Eisenhower's in there. I wonder if he's related to Mamie. I don't think so. Also, we have...
Oh, you're digging. You're digging.
It's late in this game.
You're digging.
I started digging 4 minutes ago. Hey, the free throw is good by Black. You know, and I'm sure that if you're John McDougal or a Rockford Lutheran fan, if you asked everybody here, you just want to erase the time left on the clock, would it be okay now? Most folks, except these kids from Pinckneyville, would say, yeah, okay. Long jumper out front is not there.
Well, you just put the ball game behind you. You got to get ready to play in the consolation game.
That's right. Harris gets it over, tried to get it over the black, but it went away. Yeah, you hate to see a great player like Eric Clark go out, at least with his championship dream like that happens. I mean, Pinckneyville just defensed him well, and they got off to a torrid offensive start.
But you just got to bounce back. That's all you can do, just bounce back.
Well, his last high school game will be tonight.
Third place is better than fourth.
You got it. Wild underneath the Pinckneyville basket. Kunkel couldn't get the original shot to fall, and we're under a minute as Harris bowls his way in, and Kunkel will be called with a foul. Anson said, man, I had position. At this point, with a 37-point lead, no one will argue the point.
Kunkel's going to get his chance. He's only a junior, 6'5". Pinckneyville 11 of 31 wins this season. 31 points.
I think they're used to winning big, huh? Every time they go out, 1 out of 3 times they go out, they win by 30 or more. Largest win ever. I haven't had this many notes passed to me since I was back in grade school. Largest win, 135 versus Carterville. Of course, that's the largest win this year for Pinckneyville. Looks like my doctor wrote that note. I couldn't really make that one out.
There was a Pinckneyville-Carterville game early in the year.
Rebound comes down for Mark Radicke.
I should have handled that note, shouldn't I?
You handed it to me.
I didn't write it, though. And I'm not your doctor either.
Thank goodness. That's why I'm alive today. Shot out front by McGranahan won't fall. We're down to the final 30 seconds. Harris for 3. No, Harris gets his own rebound and makes a nice pass underneath to Kessman, but Kessman couldn't come out of there with a point. Across the court they come. McGranahan. There's a jumper by Eisenhower. No. Rebound underneath by Mark Carlson, and the clock will stop as we go the other way for free throws.
Radicke picked up the personal foul.
A lot of folks have already headed out to get something to eat between the sessions here, because we all know who's going to be in the championship game. Pinckneyville and Eureka. Happening 94, of course, never stops, not even after tonight. The team reunion of the Sweet 16 teams from 1969, and then those Elite 8 teams in 1984. It's all happening next week, Friday, Saturday. A card and giant comic show. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you can get a basketball card with Sonny Cox's picture on it, amongst many, many other things here coming up next week. Now that's a happening. 14 seconds left to go. Out front, it's Radicke for 3. And that'll bring him up to 80. 80 to 43, a 37-point win, or will it be? Yep, that's the way it's going to end.
And what a fitting way to close. The same way Pinckneyville opened the ball game, that's the way it closes.
With a 3. Shane Hawkins will get his just desserts during our post-game show. And, of course, Joe Passion will talk with Dick Korn. As he said at half, Dick Korn, a little bit of cold, but, of course, that could be cured with a state championship. But before Pinckneyville celebrates a second state championship in that school's storied history, they'll have to get through a Eureka club that is all pumped up. Now, if you ask people when this Elite 8 tournament started, Greg Sterick, who do you pick? I don't think you would have heard the name Eureka, just like last year when you didn't hear the name Staunton.
And you wouldn't have heard Pinckneyville either. Most people didn't anticipate this being the matchup in the championship ball game. Two outstanding teams are going to be in a championship contest. Both ball clubs set their tone on the defensive end. Eureka, that tough, just relentless man-to-man pressure, and Pinckneyville, they really get after you on the defensive end too with outstanding defensive pressure.
Yeah, I got a feeling Eric Clark will have fun tonight during the third place game, but right now we're waiting for Joe Passion, who has Dick Korn, who's 1 win away from it all. Joe?
All right, well, thanks very much. I don't think there is any better medicine for a bad cold than a big victory in a semifinal game like this. You've got to be very pleased with the overall game here in the second half, just protecting a big lead.
Well, one of the things we want to do in the second half is not make as many trips up and down the floor, and so we try to slow the game down a little bit and just not run up and down. And obviously we got to rest our kids a lot, and that's important leading into tonight's ball game.
You know, I would have to think, and Jim and Greg mentioned this on the telecast during the game too, Dick, that might be the biggest positive out of this game overall, is being able to rest your starters and come in all that much fresher, something that it's very difficult on these Saturdays.
Well, yeah, a couple. First of all, you got to advance. That's the most important thing. But you're exactly right, and we're going to need that rest tonight. This Eureka basketball team's a very good team, and it's going to take everything we've got to get a victory. But it is nice that we got a little bit of rest.
Well, Shane Hawkins was our player of the game, but another great player today was Brett Cleveland. Had a great game, 19 points, and you added some scoring, and Coach Korn talking about how the starters get a little bit of rest. Kind of unexpected, wasn't it?
Well, we thought it'd be a little bit better game than that. We just wanted to come out and play hard and do the best we could.
Are you surprised that this team that has been able to score as many as they can, that your pressure just simply, it appeared, took the mental game away from them as well?
Well, we just wanted to come out and keep as much pressure on them as we could and try to wear them out through the game.
Being the part of the, and I don't mean this on a downside, but supporting cast for Shane, it seems like you pick him up, he picks you up, and it's such a well-balanced thing on the floor amongst the team players.
Well, we're all teammates. We all try to help each other out and do the best we can.
And you guys did it very well, the best you could today. We'll see you in the championship game.
Thanks a lot.
All right, guys, congratulations. And well, what a great ball game and a big victory here it is, as two small towns from the state of Illinois will go to the state championship game here in Class A. And we'll be back with more of our post-game coverage from Assembly Hall after these words from your local Ford dealer.
And welcome back to Assembly Hall. Jim Albrecht along with Greg Sterick. What happened to Rockford Lutheran here this afternoon is akin to going 60 down the highway and having a tire blowout. I mean, it happened in a hurry, and the man doing the puncturing was Mr. Hawkins.
Well, the tone of this basketball game was set real early. With Pinckneyville, it's their good defense, but it was also their outside shooting early in the basketball game. Hawkins opened up with a big three-pointer. Then they were able to knock in, I think Hawkins had 3 straight threes, so Pinckneyville was off and running in this ball game early.
And if you had to take a wild guess, Greg, who would be your player of the game by chance?
Oh, I think it would probably be Shane Hawkins. I think that's who I would probably pick. It looks like Hawkins there. He gets 21 points. He's 4 of 6 from the three-point line. Hawkins got his ball club off to a great start.
And our player of the game brought to you by All Sport Body Quencher. All new, all taste, all performance. Drink All Sport. Now, if our player of the game had it in him, which he did, he probably would be involved in the play of the game. And as a matter of fact, we're going to triplet the play of the game because he nailed 3 early, and that set the tone.
And this is the way the basketball game started. Pinckneyville was tough on the defensive end. Good ball movement. Who they look for? The all-state player, Shane Hawkins. He steps behind the arc. Nothing but net. One more time. Hawkins from the other side. That's 2 in a row for Shane Hawkins. Then he spots up, knocks in another big 3, and Pinckneyville advances to the championship game. And what a great start. He got his ball club off to 3 straight threes. Hawkins with 9 points, and they really took control of this basketball game early. The offense was there for Hawkins. He had all of his points in the first half, did not score in the second half. But I think when you look at the reason why they're able to advance, Jim, I think you have to talk about defense. Yep. And I think the tone was set on the defensive end. Eric Clark, the outstanding player of Rockford Lutheran, had 29 points in the ball game yesterday. Only had 5 points in the first half. Credit Pinckneyville's defense. They really got out and pressured the guards of Rockford Lutheran.
Pinckneyville knew that the guard court for Rockford Lutheran could not hurt them. At least that's what they felt. So they concentrated on the inside game of the Crusaders, and they got it done. Our play of the game was brought to you by American Airlines and American Eagle. Something special in the air. We'll come back to wrap up things from Assembly Hall after these local messages.
Talk for a little bit there.
We are back for the final wrap-up here at Assembly Hall. Today's semifinal games, of course, went the way of Eureka, and as you can see, very much the way of Pinckneyville. I'm Jim Albrecht, back along with Greg Sterick, and let's take a look at the numbers. As you might suspect, they will be heavily in favor of the Panthers.
Well, when you look at the numbers right there, field goal percentage, Pinckneyville 47%, 38% for Rockford Lutheran. Free throws, 12 points at the line for Lutheran, 18 for Pinckneyville. They are 18 of 22, 82%. 3-point field goals, Pinckneyville with the edge, 6 of 15. That's 40%. That's what they shoot on the year. Rebound department, Pinckneyville with the edge, an 8 advantage there, 34-26. Look at the turnovers. Rockford Lutheran with 22 turnovers in the ball game.
And they've got a lot of those turnovers handed to them early by Pinckneyville. Our stats brought to you by the dairy farm families of Wisconsin and Illinois. Milk, it does a body good. I can just almost feel how pumped up Shane Hawkins must be, because when you're a senior in high school coming back and playing that final game for all of it, he's got to be pumped coming out. He was pumped today.
Well, Pinckneyville's a balanced basketball team, though. Hawkins, all of his points in the first half. He gets 22 points instead of 21. Cleland gets 19. Decker, the little point guard, looks to distribute first, but he has a big ball game, scoring in double figures with 10. And Dagner, the sophomore, who had a tremendous basketball game, really works hard on the offensive glass. He had 8 points. So Pinckneyville, when you get to the state championship ball game, you're more than just a one-dimensional basketball team. A very balanced attack, but the attack is led by Shane Hawkins, the all-state performer.
A lot of experts picked the championship game tonight. A lot of experts did not pick Eureka and Pinckneyville, but they picked themselves, and that's what it's all about. We're going to break away, wrap it up with Joe Passion after this. One of your network sponsors is Country Companies.
The semifinals are now history here from Assembly Hall, and Pinckneyville has really put a piece of history on the Crusaders of Rockford Lutheran with this large victory of 80-43. So it'll be the Panthers in the championship game to be played later tonight following the consolation game. It'll be the Panthers tonight, the consolation game at 6:30, the championship game at 8:15, and you'll see both those games live right here on the station. So tonight it should be a dandy as two small towns from the state of Illinois, Eureka and Pinckneyville. Eureka here for its very first time in the Elite Eight, make it to the championship game, while Pinckneyville, with a storied tradition of high school tournament basketball behind it, going all the way back into the 40s and 30s, are here now to try and bring that history into Pinckneyville High School for the 90s. The consolation game, of course, will pit Rockford Lutheran against St. Martin de Porres, and while many fans had hoped to see the two-star all-state players in the championship game, Clark of Lutheran and, of course, G of St. Martin's, they'll see them, but not in the championship game. They will see them in the consolation game, and you'll see all the games right here. So we hope you've enjoyed our telecast today. For Jim Albrecht and Dick Lutke, along with Greg Sterick, I'm Joe Passion saying so long from Assembly Hall for this afternoon. We'll see you back here tonight on the campus of the University of Illinois as we continue our coverage of America's original March Madness.
Crusaders Class A basketball final has been brought to you in part by Country Companies Insurance. When it matters most, the country's behind you. The Pepsi-Cola bottlers of Illinois, who encourage you to be young, have fun, and drink Pepsi. Your local Ford dealer, home of the best-selling car and truck in America. And by the dairy farm families of Wisconsin and Illinois. Drink milk. It does a body good. The proceeding has been a presentation of the Illinois High School Association.